Bulgaria's largest pro-Russian party, Revival, has called for the country to withdraw from the European Union and become a member of the BRICS, Euroactiv reports. In Parliament the day before, the party's own Renaissance called for a referendum on postponing the country's membership in the Eurozone until at least 2043. And despite the support of Revival, the Bulgarian Socialist Party and the Populist Party, MPs from pro-European groups, which are quite numerous, including GERB, Continuing Changes, Democratic Bulgaria, and the Movement for Rights and Freedoms, rejected the proposal to undermine Bulgaria's full integration into the EU. The newspaper writes that the debate is evidence of an attempt by pro-Russian forces in Bulgarian politics to spread disinformation ahead of the next parliamentary elections. The leader of the Renaissance Party, Kostadin Kostadinov, went so far as to directly call for Bulgaria's withdrawal from the EU and NATO. Quote, "If we want to have a future, we have no place in these agonizing structures that are the EU, in this format, and NATO. If the EU is not reformed, we must leave it, because we will not die with them," he said. Bulgaria's pro-Russian radical party, Revival, is one of the founders of a sovereigntist group in the European Parliament, along with Germany's Alternative for Germany. The new election thesis of the Revival is that Bulgaria should become a member of the BRICS. Sancho Ganev said that the Bulgarian people should be asked whether they want to be part of the Eurozone or not. Without citing any facts to support his statement, he explained that the BRICS is a richer club than Western countries, and that this makes Euro-Atlantic parties very afraid to go to a referendum. And finally, a final note. The World Bank has calculated that Bulgaria's GDP per capita is higher than that of any BRICS country except the oil-rich Arab Emirates, although Bulgaria still has the lowest GDP per capita. In fact, it is worth mentioning that the BRICS organization was founded by Russia, India, China, Brazil, and then South Africa joined, an organization that essentially became a counterweight to the G7, the Great Seven.
Це була організація, яка, по суті, стала противагою організації G7, Великій Сімці.
And it should economically unite those countries that have a fairly large influence in their regions and the global economy, and thus counteract in their own interests. By the way, quite a few countries have joined the BRICS, and now there is a situation where Turkey is applying to join the BRICS. In July, after Putin's visit, Azerbaijan said that they have applied to join BRICS. And in fact, other countries, especially African countries, Eastern countries, also declare that they are interested in joining this organization. And if you actually look at the analytics, the overall economic status of the association of these countries, I mean the BRICS, has become higher than the combined economy of the G7. Now, we are going to join our conversation with political scientist Oleg Sahakyan, and we will talk with him about all these events. But first of all, of course, we will touch on the issue of changes in the Ukrainian government. Mr. Sahakyan, I am glad to welcome you. Glory to Ukraine. So let's start with the new appointments to the Ukrainian cabinet. What has changed in politics? I would say that we should not expect any dramatic changes. One of the indicators of this would be the replacement of the Prime Minister and the resignation of the Cabinet of Ministers as a whole. This would indicate that there are some more fundamental changes underway, but they are not. And therefore the same structure and the same balance of power will remain. In fact, apart from certain surnames, by which we can identify that some groups have strengthened a little, others have weakened a little, but in general, there is nothing new. The short-term effect is likely to be quite positive, for example, for the government, as the system will now receive an adrenaline rush. Newly appointed ministers, even from among the old ones, will have to demonstrate some kind of effectiveness. And in order to justify these changes in the eyes of Zelensky and in the eyes of society, but in the medium term, in just a few months, I think we will see that the situation will be more or less the same. In general, this model of concentration of, say, power, or to put it simply, management in the mode of 5 or 6 manual managers, has seriously become amortized and accordingly today can no longer serve as an effective model in the face of the complex and complicated challenges we are currently overcoming in the long war.